Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be me taking you through the European Powerlifting Champs that we went to a few weeks ago, so I hope you enjoy it. So for anyone who watched my last video on my channel, which was my first powerlifting meet vlog, you will know how that went. So if you haven't watched that already, go back and watch it. Basically, following on from that competition, I qualified for the European Championships for my weight category. So the European Championships are being held in Manchester, which took place a few weeks ago, and I thought, seeing as I qualified, why not go and do it and enjoy the weekend alongside my boyfriend Nick and Carolyn and Jen, who also competed, and it was such a fun weekend. But I'm going to explain a little bit about what happened in the 5 weeks between both competitions. So a week after the first ever powerlifting competition that I did, I came down with COVID, so did my boyfriend, and we were both unwell, and we obviously had to isolate for 10 days, weren't able to train. And when we eventually got back into the gym after isolating, I had no opportunity to work back up to the weights I was lifting. I just had to go back in and hope for the best. And still having some fatigue after COVID that was much harder than I thought it was going to be. And so the few weeks leading up to the competition were not easy whatsoever. The reason why I have zero vlog footage of that weekend also is because 2 days before the competition, I came down with a urine infection again. And so that just threw me completely off. I didn't even know if I was going to compete. I was really stressing, and so that whole weekend I was just focusing on making sure I was actually feeling well enough to compete and was going to be able to compete. And so I did not pick the camera up. The last thing I went to was pick the camera up, and you would have just seen a moody as hell face. But anyway, so obviously in the last competition I competed in the 67.5 kilo category, although I only weighed about 61 kilos. So moving on to the European Championships, you are able to move up or down one category. So I thought, well, I might as well just drop down to the 60 kilo category, lose a couple kilos, come in at 59, and compete in the category below, meaning the standard would be somewhat lower. So because I don't really have much footage, I'm going to talk through each lift, and kind of give a little bit of a rundown of me just chatting through what actually happened throughout the weekend. So we obviously weighed in the day before, we then went shopping and ate loads of food in Manchester for the weekend, and then the next morning up bright and early and starting off with squats. So I'm going to put in the squat videos after this clip, so you can see all three of my lifts. But I eventually did get the PB I was waiting for. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been failing at this lift for such a long time, so I'm super buzzing I managed to get it. But I came in at 100 kilos this time, although I came in at 90 kilos the time before the competition before, so I came in 10 kilos higher, and you will see how that went. So yeah, that's the squats. I managed to get that 110 kilo PB that I have wanted for so long, that I have failed so many times, and the fact that it moved somewhat easily or okay, I was buzzing about. So that was amazing for me. That was a 10 kilo PB. I kind of knew after the 100 kilos that felt comfortable, and I thought, do I go straight to 110 or do I play it safe and go 105? Kind of wish in hindsight I went straight to 110 to maybe give 115 a go. But yeah, I was super happy with that. So yeah, that was brilliant. So now moving on to bench press. So bench press, this competition I really wanted to go for a body weight bench. So considering I weighed 59 kilos at this competition and I had benched 55 kilos at my first competition, I was determined to try and get a 60 kilo bench and bench my body weight. That's just been a personal goal for me, and that's something that, yeah, I've always wanted to achieve. So watch the bench press, let me know what you think, and see if I did it. Yeah, unfortunately no body weight bench press for me on that competition. I'm surprised it even moved off of my chest at all. It was then just my triceps that let me down in completing the lift, but that's still a personal goal that I really want to achieve. That's something that I'm still aiming to achieve in the future, but yeah, overall I was really happy to even get the chance to attempt that lift because I'd never attempted that before. So now moving on to the deadlift, the best part of the day, the most exciting and thrilling part of the day. So this was where I had to be quite clever and calculated, because obviously we're at a European Championships. As much as I am not really like a power lifter, I'd only competed once before and it's not something I've necessarily considered myself like fully established in. I am still a very competitive person. I still want to do very well, and there were 6 girls in this competition and I really wanted to be competitive. I really wanted to be in the mix. I was going to have to get a 300 kilo total in order to be in the mix of all the other girls and be competitive. So after the squat at 110, after the bench at 55, I was obviously sitting at a 165 total, which meant for me to get a 300 kilo total, I was going to have to deadlift 135 kilos, which was going to be a PB for me. Obviously in the last meet I deadlifted 130, so yeah, that was going to be a PB for me. I was going to have to go for it, and this is why I was going to be quite calculated about it, because from being ill that weekend, I was not feeling fab, I was not feeling my best. My deadlifts in warm-up felt so slow. I remember doing a 100 kilo deadlift in warm-up and just thinking, God, that hurt. My lower back was in pain, especially from not being able to train properly in between competitions, and I just thought, am I going to do this, am I not? So I was like, I'm just going to have to go for it. So I came in at 115, and take a look to see if I did indeed deadlift 135. I did get my 135 kilo deadlift, which means I finished the day on a 300 kilo total, and that was a personal goal for me. After my first competition, having achieved a 285 kilo total, I was like, right, 300 kilo total would be amazing. I had no idea where I was going to get an extra 15 kilos from in this competition, but I'm so glad I got it out of the squat and the deadlift. And yeah, I'm so glad that I achieved that personal goal of mine to hit 300 kilos. It put me competitively in the mix of all the other girls, and I think there was actually only a 40 to 45 kilo difference from first place to last place in my category, and everyone was pretty close together, which made it for a very exciting competition. And I'm so happy for the girls that won and did really amazing, and will be going on to compete in the World Championships in Portugal in November, so good for them. So yeah, overall it was a really, really wonderful weekend after I got over the COVID, the fatigue, the struggles of training, the urine infections that weekend, and just, yeah, getting over all of that. But I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I had the experience that I had, and I'm so glad that I got the PBs that I did. Thank you so much for watching. I am not sure when I will be competing in powerlifting again. It won't be this year, and I am unsure if it will be next year, as I will be doing something else next year. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.